We are at Daytona International Speedway for the HSR Classic 24. It's one of the greatest events that happens on the planet. Well, the bus is a cool old piece. It's a '69 Volkswagen panel bus that was used by Porsche as one of their parts haulers back in the day. At some point in history when Pollock was buying all of the Porsche inventory out of Germany and bringing it back to the States, he was transporting those parts by buying old Volkswagen buses, filling them full of parts and shipping them, and then driving them to his dealership, unloading them, and selling the old buses to surfers and hippies on his car lot. And he was actually making money by transporting the parts back, and this was one of them. So after that, it was used by a woman in Texas to sell flowers out of, and that's the decal, the old area you can see on the door was a decal for her flower shop. That decal has been over that original Porsche paint for so long that it actually etched the paint. Believe it or not, that bus was on Craigslist in Jacksonville, and a friend of mine sent me a link to it, and I looked at it and thought, yeah, somebody made an old Porsche bus, you know, with a brush, and you know, they gave it that fake patina look. But it was kind of neat looking, and it was priced right. And I talked to the guy on the phone, and I just went to look at it thinking I was wasting my time. But once I saw it, and I did a little homework about, he knew that somehow it had come through the Bassick dealership, and that's all he knew. So once I'd done a little poking around and learned what it was, I elected to buy it. The paintwork on the door is definitely original. Somebody has taken a brush and tried to kind of fix the Porsche lettering, because I think there were a lot of places where it had just kind of come off altogether. And I don't know, but just from looking at it, I'm assuming most old Volkswagens were painted with a brush and house paint at some point in their life. And I think that one was, and that in the process of trying to get the old house paint off, they probably removed some of the Porsche lettering. So it's got some brush paint on it, but you can tell in the parts it's originally sprayed where it's cracked that it's original paint. So we rounded up everything that is kind of from the late 60s, early 70s era of a Porsche, 908 wheels and 917 spindles and center lock nuts and calipers, and then some Gulf stuff for good measure, just to kind of give it a look, you know, of an old race team bus. And then when we brought it here for the initial Classic 24-hour, we had anybody that was involved in Porsche in that period of time sign the inside of the bus. So Brian Redman and you know, guys of that era. It's just a cool thing, and that's one of my favorite things about Goodwood. Obviously the cars are great and the people are great, but all of the things that are around it, you know, old race car transporter, team gear and stuff like that, that's what's really neat about racing. And for the longest time, people really didn't care about that stuff. But, you know, all of those things in one place, you know, to have this bus here around cars of that era and stuff like that, it just kind of adds to the ambiance, doesn't it, you know? So that's what's cool about it.